25% of women are now actively pursuing men who fall completely outside their physical type, not their height preference, not their usual look, not the type they'd swipe right on in 2 seconds. And here's what the data tells us about why it's a single variable. Researchers at Plenty of Fish named it ChemRIZZtry, and it has nothing to do with your face, your wardrobe, or your gym membership. It's charisma. But not the Hollywood version, not the loud center of their own version. A specific behavioral form of charisma, the kind that operates below conscious awareness and triggers an attraction response. She literally cannot explain or override. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact 7 habits that activate it. Not theory, not advice your dad gave you. Specific, mechanical, neurologically grounded behaviors ranked by impact that you can begin practicing before you finish watching. Something shifted in 2026 that most men haven't accounted for. Plenty of Fish's behavioral data confirmed what many people sense but couldn't. Name charisma is now overriding physical attraction as the primary driver of romantic interest. The term they coined, ChemRIZZtry, describes exactly this. A magnetic pull that women feel toward men they can't quite categorize but absolutely cannot ignore. Google searches for this phenomenon spiked 600% in a single year. At the same time, the Institute of Family Studies found that over 60% of young men are functionally withdrawing from dating entirely, not by choice, but because the social skill atrophy from years of digital-first living has made in-person connection feel genuinely foreign. AI tools are accelerating this. Men are losing the very behavioral competencies that trigger attraction in real-time environments. Better openers, better texts, better comebacks. But women are not primarily responding to your words. They're responding to the behavioral signals underneath the words, the ones their nervous system processes before their conscious mind even catches up. That's what this video is about. Not what you say, how you exist. So Ariari, the 7 habits that trigger ChemRIZZtry, the behavioral charisma effect that makes women feel something they can't put into words. Number 1, the posture reset. Attraction is biologically assessed in 100 milliseconds. Harvard and UC research confirms it, and posture is the dominant signal in that window. Before your voice, your smell, your face, or your words register, the alignment of your spine has already communicated your threat level, your health, and your genetic fitness to her limbic system. This is not metaphor. This is evolutionary neuroscience. The limbic brain is scanning for survival quality partners before the rational brain even boots up. You're walking into a coffee shop, she's at the counter, and the time it takes her to glance over, literally the duration of one blink. Her brain has already processed your physical confidence level and assigned you a social value score. The fix is embarrassingly simple. Feet shoulder width apart, shoulders rolled back once and released, not military stiff, but open. Imagine a cable pulling the crown of your head gently toward the ceiling. Practice this in every doorway you walk through for 7 days. Doorways become posture checkpoints. You'll rewire the habit without thinking about it, but posture gets you noticed. What happens in the next 3 seconds is what makes her interested. And that's about something most men do completely wrong. Number 2, controlled movement quality. Fluid, controlled movement now outranks static muscle mass as an attraction signal. This is emerging from behavioral research tracking what women describe as presence and movement. Quality is the physical expression of that perception. Rapid, jerky, or reactive movement signals nervous system dysregulation, consciously or not. It reads as anxiety, low status, or threat. Slow, intentional movements signals self. And self-regulation is one of the most potent proxies for emotional maturity that the human body can broadcast. Think of the last time you saw a genuinely high-status person in a room. They don't rush. They don't fidget. They turn their head slowly. They set things down deliberately. Even reaching for a glass looks different. Start small. Practice moving at 70% of your natural pace in social environments. When you sit down, do it slowly and deliberately. When you turn to face someone, let the movement complete fully before you speak. This single change, consistently applied, will alter how rooms perceive you before you open your mouth. Now, this next one, this is where most men sabotage themselves completely without ever knowing it. Number 3, the vocal resonance shift. Vocal tonality triggers emotional contagion, the neurological process where one person's physiological state transfers to another through sensory input. A low, resonant, unhurried voice activates her parasympathetic nervous system. She physically relaxes, and relaxation is the biological precondition for attraction. The mistake most men make when trying to sound more attractive is forcing a deeper voice from their throat, which sounds artificial and reads as performative. Real resonance comes from your diaphragm. Here's what behavioral voice coaching calls the humming technique. For 60 seconds a day, hum a single sustained note while placing your hand on your sternum. Feel where the vibration originates. When you speak from that same anatomical origin point, your voice carries natural resonance without any affect. Practice this once in the morning. Within 2 weeks, the muscle memory shifts your default register, not artificially deeper, but physically fuller. The difference is perceptible in real time. And if movement quality and vocal resonance work on what she hears and sees, this next habit works on something she feels. And it's the one most men have been accidentally doing backwards. Number 4, the 70-30th listening ratio. There's a behavioral psychology principle called the 70-30th rule. In a high attraction interaction, the man who speaks 30% of the time and listens 70% projects more grounded authority than the man who dominates the conversation. This is counterintuitive to how most men approach attraction. Many equate talking with demonstrating value, but here's the neuroscience. When you speak, she's evaluating you. When she speaks and you listen genuinely. Without rushing to respond, her brain releases oxytocin, the bonding neurochemical, and she associates that neurochemical state with you. You didn't manufacture it. You created the conditions for it, the tactical instruction. Stop preparing your next sentence while she's still speaking. When she finishes, hold comfortable silence for 3 to 4 full seconds before responding. Don't fill the pause. Let it breathe. That pause communicates without a single word that you are a man who processes before he reacts. That you don't need external stimulation to feel comfortable. That you are, in the truest sense of the word, grounded. That one habit alone separates men who have interesting conversations from men who create unforgettable ones. If you've made it this far, you already understand more about attraction than the vast majority of men. But the next 3, these are the ones that separate the men who understand it from the men who actually live it. Number 5, clear coding your intentions. Tinder's 2026 behavioral data found that 64% of women now explicitly demand clear communication of romantic intentions, and that ambiguity is one of the leading causes of what the data calls dating burnout. Google searches for dating burnout spiked 400% in 2025. This matters because most men operate in ambiguity as a strategy. Hedge your bets. Don't show too much interest. Keep options open. But in the current dating environment, ambiguity doesn't register as mystery. It registers as emotional immaturity. It signals that you don't know what you want, and men who don't know what they want don't get it. Clear coding is simple. State your interests with specificity and without apology. Not we should hang out sometime, but I'd like to take you to dinner on Friday. The specificity itself is attractive. It communicates that you've thought about her specifically, not interchangeably. This is not aggression. This is clarity. Women can decline clarity. What they cannot comfortably navigate is perpetual ambiguity, and the data confirms they are increasingly walking away from. Men who offer nothing else. Number 6, grim keeping, bonding through shared dislikes. Here's the one that most men have never heard of, and it's one of the fastest rapport-building mechanisms in the behavioral science literature. It's called grim keeping, bonding through shared dislikes. While most advice tells you to stay positive, lead with your interests. Show enthusiasm. Neurological research on social bonding shows that shared negative reactions to a third-party thing create faster, deeper trust than shared positive reactions. Why? Because expressing a dislike requires vulnerability. It requires you to reveal a preference that someone could disagree with. When she shares that dislike, her brain registers you as someone she can be authentic with, someone she can drop the performance with. The tactical application, instead of only asking what she loves, ask what she can't stand. Not about people, about experiences, media, behaviors. What's the most overrated restaurant in this city? What's a movie everyone loves that you genuinely hate? When she answers and you share even a partial overlap, The chemistry that registers is disproportionately intense. This is not about negativity. It's about the safety of authenticity, and authenticity is the foundation of Number 7, living with what Poev called love. This one isn't a technique. It's an identity shift. Plenty of Fish's 2026 data found that 37% of singles are now explicitly prioritizing love-longing, pursuing experiences that are genuinely story-worthy. Experiences worth narrating. Not manufactured romance, not Instagrammable performances. How novelty, real engagement with life as something to be explored rather than endured. Here's what this means behaviorally. The most charismatic men in any room are not performing charisma. They are genuinely, deeply, specifically interested in things. They have projects. They have obsessions. They have places they are going. And women feel this is a gravitational pull rather than a pitch. The behavioral science literature describes this clearly. External success alone does not create emotional magnetism, but a man who is building something, experiencing something, and narrating his life as a genuine story in progress. That activates the emotional attraction response that ChemRIZZtry describes. The practical instruction: identify one experience in your life right now that you could not wait to tell someone about. If you can't name one, that's not a dating problem. That's a life problem. And fixing it is the most attractive thing you could ever do. These aren't 7 separate tricks. They are 7 expressions of one underlying reality. When your posture signals genetic health, and your movement signals self, and your voice signals physiological.com, and your listening creates neurochemical bonding, and your clarity signals emotional maturity, and your authentic reactions create trust, and your life creates genuine pull, you are not doing 7 things. You are one thing. You are a man whose internal state is so coherent that every external signal she receives confirms the same message. That compound effect is what creates commitment. That's what women mean when they say there's just something about him and can't define it further. It's not one habit. It's the integration of all of them until they stop being habits and start being character. And this is the distinction that matters most. You are not here to perform these behaviors for long enough to manufacture a result. You are here to practice them until they become automatic. Until the man who does these things naturally is you. That's the difference between trying to be attractive and being attractive. One final thing. None of this is manipulation. Understanding behavioral psychology is not the same as engineering someone's emotions for your benefit. Every habit in this video makes you a more regulated, more present, more genuine version of yourself, and it lets the right woman recognize you for it. That's not a tactic. That's integrity. At the start of this video, we said that 25% of women are pursuing men completely outside their physical type, drawn by something they couldn't name. Now you can name it. ChemRIZZtry is not luck. It's not genetics. It's not a personality you either have or don't. It's a set of behaviors that, practiced with consistency and genuine intent, become indistinguishable from who you are. Here's your challenge for today. One thing: the next time you're standing in line, in a hallway, or walking into any room, do the posture reset from number 1, feet planted, shoulders open, head of the spine long. That's it. Just once, consciously let that be the beginning. Then come back and drop a comment. Which of these 7 habits are you starting with, and why? Your answer might be the one that helps someone else find their entry point. And if you're ready to take what you just learned and apply it to the actual conversation, the words, the pauses, the framework that makes all of this 10 times more powerful in real time, watch this video next.